Shazam issue 14, Jeff Johns writing with Dale Eaglesham and Scott Collins on the art. So it's not the final issue of the book, but it is the final issue of the Jeff Johns story.
Man, this is such a, like, I know people have issues with Johns and Superboy Prime, and they feel that Prime doesn't have a place in 2020. Although dealing with people on the internet, I disagree, because there's a lot more Superboy Primes out there. So I feel as a rule, I just don't use them all the time. So I just wish we could have had more. And I know I'm probably in the minority. I wish I could have seen Billy in Jerkbag Superboy Prime interact more.
Oh, I mean, I obviously I wanted a long run for this the whole time. It's disappointing that it's only 14 issues, slightly less because there's a fill-in.
12, right? Because there was 2.
Was it 2 fill-ins?
2? No,
maybe 2 fill-ins, I'm sure.
Was there?
Or maybe there's going to be. Either way, it's either 12 or 13 issues, and it started with such promise. Because
this issue's fine. You know, it recaps kind of the Shazam story so far, including the origin story from the Justice League backups. And we get fights. We get Superboy Prime. Punches through the heart of Scapegoat. Scapegoat is dead. R.I.P. Scapegoat.
Yep. See ya.
And all the action's fine. Miniaturized Shazam fighting Mr. Mind.
I love how he figures out that he can't do spells without talking. But all I could think of was in Harry Potter when Snape's trying to teach Harry the nonverbal spells. And I was like, man, if Mr. Mind had listened to Snape,
I don't know if this is an intentional thing or if I'm just like making a jump here. But the full page spread where Billy, or Shazam I should say, smashes the radio that he uses to talk.
Yeah.
He yells out "No more spells," and I was like, "Is this meant to be like a weird sort of jab at No More Mutants?" The way he's saying it, I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
It was just a specific phrasing that stuck out to me.
Yeah. But like I did like that. I liked him using magic because I feel like that's something that Johns has been trying to push since he wrote since he wrote Captain Marvel back in Justice Society.
Yeah,
he wanted him to be like this magical type character, not just Magic Superman.
There's definitely a point here where I was sort of thinking, okay, so Superboy Prime's here. They've kind of, and Superboy Prime takes out most of the Marvel family. He he gets souped up with magic from the previous brass, so he basically punches the Shazam out of the others.
He punches Eugene and Pedro back into being kids.
Yeah. It isn't to everyone, but obviously Billy himself. And I was sort of thinking, okay, so what's the purpose of having this Superboy Prime tease and having this fight here at the end? And the fight, the purpose of this, which I think is really good, and I would have loved like another arc building to this, like properly with Superboy Prime as the villain. But the point is that Captain Marvel and Black Adam have to team up to fight Superboy Prime. They have to combine their strength to the point where they have to agree to both say the word. And Black Adam's like, yeah, but I'll die very quickly if I turn back to my true self.
Dust.
And he's like, I promise I'll lend you my magic to bring you back afterwards. And he does, so there's this trust that kind of forms, and the book ends with Black Adam basically saying, hey, let's say end, it's way before the end, but he says, as long as you don't come to Kandak, our rivalry's done. We'll live, in peace. So they fight Superboy Prime, it is what it is. It's good. And, I do like that at the end, the wizard's kind of watching from above and kind of says, one day they'll redeem the 7th champion, and the final page is showing that the 7th person who's meant to be sitting there at the Rock of Eternity is Black Adam. He's supposed to be the 7th with the family.
Right. Which, looking at how Johns has written Adam throughout his career, this is his end game. I always feel like Black Adam, for all his faults and whatnot, like he is that character that he can do good.
And the sad part is that I can see the great 50 issue run that builds up to this ending happening. And instead, because I really like this ending here, but it's a shame that I don't think we're ever going to get the actual story of getting to that point.
Well, and I also feel like it gets into the movie territory as well with his dad, and we go over the beats that were featured in the movie, and they kind of tease about the mom.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit.
Don't worry, Pete. You'll get the next part of this story from maybe not from Johns, but from someone when the next movie's coming out.
Oh, very possibly. But there's a nice touch here where Billy gets to confront his father about his fatherhood, but not as Billy. He does it as Shazam. So
Right.
his dad doesn't know. The last thing he remembers is getting taken in Chicago. He doesn't remember anything
Right.
that's happened. And so we get this thing where Shazam asks him a couple of questions, and he gets really bad answers.
Yep.
So he just lets him go. He lets him walk away from his life because clearly, his family's what he's made
has a
now.
family.
Yeah.
Right. That's who you make it, and I do like that. And I like that he chooses Adam, right? Despite all this stuff, and from what we've experienced, just in this continuity of the character, it's not as much, but it's enough that he does, and he gives him his power, and that's something I always loved about when I was learning about Shazam is like he shared his powers with Freddy and with Mary, and that was always a part of it. So the fact that John's has made that how he works, he can split it at least 7 times,
There was a point
really cool.
in the narration towards the end where he's talking about how we had to go save all the magic lands from all their threats, and it basically in the narration boxes describes a few adventures they had, and I'm like, yeah, these were clearly going to be arcs in this ongoing story. Had he written the whole thing,
the Game Master and the Wildlands and
or the Darklands where they teamed up with Ghost Patrol to defeat Dracula. Like, what in that arc?
I want this, please. Hey, if they're gonna do it as OGNs, cool.
Sure.
I'll buy them. Like, I love Shazam. Like, I love this world. But yeah, no, man, it just sucks that it gets upended, and I don't know what Johns is doing. I don't know what he's preoccupied with.
Stargirl season 2, I expect.
Yeah, I'm wondering, but
how involved is he in the potential Green Lantern show as well?
I think so. As I remember him being involved, but we'll see.
But it is kind of a circuitous route for him that he started as Richard Donner's, assistant, and then worked his way to comics, and now he's working back in TV and in movies.
It makes sense. Started on screen, come back to screen.
And I get it, and I've enjoyed his run in the comics. Like, I can't tell you I'm sure there's some that I've forgotten that I didn't enjoy as much. But yeah,
a good 15 to 20 years out of him being consistent.
Yeah. So, man, but I just want more. It's that thing.
Yeah, so, I think if you look at it's basically the end of it's basically 2000, like 2000.
Yeah, I mean,
11.
Stars and Stripe, which was what, like 98, 99?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I'm kind of seeing like the end of his Green Lantern Justice League is kind of the end of his ongoing comic book tenure.
Yeah, which I mean that Justice League ran right up until the end of the New 52, right? As under Johns.
Yeah, technically it did to 2016. Yeah.
Well, it went to like issue 50 because the last couple were tie-ins to other things that weren't the Dark Side War stuff.
Yeah, but it was still May because those last 2 issues came after Rebirth. They came like weirdly.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
Yep. So, but he took us right there, and just like his take on Wally is iconic, and him bringing Barry back, and you know,
I mean, and obviously
about what 17 years of him being very consistently putting out books every month. And
you know what? We do have 3 Jokers right now. We had Doomsday Clock. I feel like he's probably going to keep doing Black Label minis and things like that. It seems like that's where he's going to be now.
His days being the wizard of the multiverse are definitely gone, but he does have these ideas that fit outside of that, like Doomsday Clock and the metaverse.
I'm not expecting to see another ongoing from him for maybe in a decade or so. When,
but again,
the situation has changed.
He wants to do these Shazam stories and make them, Black Label graphic novel or like the 3 Jokers where they're 3 big issues.
But don't give him more graphic novels to do. We've still got a Batman Earth 1 to come yet.
Sure, but I'd rather have Shazam than that.
I mean that's fair, but I just meant on the point of how many years I've been waiting for that now.
True, but I mean that's Frank too. Like,
that is Frank too. Yeah, but I mean both of them went. We'll do Doomsday Clock instead, which don't get me wrong was better than
trade.
Yeah. Like, I'm 100% confident it's better than.
And out of those Earth
Batman.
ones, that the Batman are the ones that I enjoy the most. I still haven't read the Green Lanterns, which I'll get to. But everything else I've read, I've enjoyed. So
yeah, I mean the first Green Lantern one was good. I think the same one came out just a few months ago.
It did.
I'm looking forward to checking that out. And then I do want to read the Wonder Woman one. I want to read Morrison and Paquette's take on that.
Was there a volume 2 recently?
I think there was.
There was a second volume.
That one. The first volume is very, very good. Because it's just Morrison doing Morrison things that I like.
That's exactly why I'm looking for that.
I
suspect it's very untraditional Wonder Woman.
No, but it's actually more traditional in who the character is. Like he understands, you know, what's the guy that created her and his psychology
Marston?
of the character. Yeah. The professor, it's kind of his take on that, and you know, the strength of femininity versus chauvinism. And you know, yeah. So if you love Super Gods, which I know you do,
Oh yeah,
it's definitely more in that take of what she represents as a character versus like his stuff on
Superheroics and stuff.
yeah versus his stuff on Green Lantern is like let's get weird, you know. So yeah. But anyways,
That sums it up pretty much.
we should rate Shazam, Pete.
Yeah, we've wrapped up the. What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give this a 7.5, because it's so good, but it just kind of ends. Like you could just tell, like, hey, I'm gonna end this in a page, you know, and it just.
I'd give it a bit more leeway and say it takes about maybe 5 pages at the end to just sort of epilogue the shit out of it.
That's what I mean. It just it comes up to that epilogue where you could tell there was more.
Yeah, but of course, unlike say Green Lantern, which he also kind of did a similar ending to, that was after such a long run that it felt earned to do this kind of, you know, and then the legend grew from here kind of thing.
There's still stuff there. I mean, when he created Jess and hinted that something's to come with her, and they kind of touched on it, but it was just enough that now we have Jess as a character, hopefully, in the future, you know.
Oh yeah, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm just making is that that came after such a long run that it was okay for me to do these kind of epilogue sort of general statements. Whereas this is after 13 issues. It's not really not enough's happened to really feel like he's earned some sort of big sort of send off kind of thing.
True.
I'll give it a 7. Like I say, I still enjoyed reading it. There's still things to like. Art's a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah, that's the one that got me.